Type delete. That would have been back in like 2015, I think. Yeah. I usually don't go to Cars and Coffee in Denver. I've been to the Lafayette one a while. I do go to the Fort Collins one sometimes. The Porsches, I have Porsches in my house, but the Porsches are at my office garage. So is the 5.0. The Aston Martin has tons of room. Maybe not the newer ones. This Aston Martin has crazy amounts of room. Plus it's convertible. But this has so much room. I mean, I only have the seat all the way back. And I'm 6'1", and it can go back quite a bit. So much room in that car. High Mountain Classics is who does my work. That guy actually has 107 cars and like 12 Lamborghinis. He's got 4 Countaches, 4 Diablos, a Yalpa, an LM002, the Espada, crazy 17 Lotuses. The dude's crazy. Victor, he's really cool though, and he works on the cars. If you can get me a $50,000 Supra with a 6-speed twin turbo US version, I'll buy it right now. Find me one and I'll buy it. I'll give you a finder's fee too. They are investments, but I don't think that they're very good investments for me because I don't ever sell them. I don't want a brand new SVJ. I'd rather have my Diablo. Yeah, in the Living Daylights 1985 movie, James Bond drove the Aston Martin. They made 50 of those in the world in 1981. They were so rare that the James Bond movie, they had to buy used ones to use in the movie because Aston Martin wouldn't give them any new ones because they're so behind on production. There was like a 2 or 3 year long waiting list to get the cars. Cool, thanks man for checking out my YouTube, I appreciate it. Real estate's what I do. The Lambo Quick, I would not describe this as quick. It is fast, but it's geared for top speed. It's built for top speed. It's 420 horsepower, but tall gears, 1980s. It's fast, but it's any sport sedan from today will probably match it from 0 to 60, no problem. This is a Diablo. I've answered a lot of these questions a bunch of times, so I must be far behind again. This is 530 horsepower. This is 420. The Diablo has 535 horsepower, so it's the most. Yes, I'm married. I've got 3 kids. 79 Nova? Nope, I don't have one. Jaguars are okay. The XJ220 is amazing. Yes, my cars are investments. I keep answering that question. No, I'm 6'1". Someone else said they were 6'8" in the comments. That's why I said 6'8". I'm 6'1", but someone else mentioned they were 6'8" in the comments, so I might not have been clear about that. You install appliances. Do you fix laundromat, washer, and dryers? That's what I need right now. How much oil takes a V12? About 18 to 19 quarts of oil. 2.5 gallons, I think that is. Warehouses are cool. I've had a warehouse or two. Hey, welcome Los Angeles. No electric cars. Yep, the Supra is a twin turbo, 6-speed US version. Yes, it's a real Countach. No airplanes or helicopters, sorry. I would take a new Ford GT, but I like the older ones better. The Diablo doesn't ride that rough, no. The Supra is pretty much stock, so it's like, what, 320 horsepower? Yes, it was the highest horsepower car. I don't start the cars here, sorry. My other lives at the office during the day I do, and on my YouTube channel I do too. I don't mean to get you excited, I'm not starting them up. But that's my daily, for people who keep asking what the daily driver is. The Diablo is much smoother than the Countach, but a lot of the Countaches have rough rides because they have old tires or aren't maintained right too. So you really got to make sure that those are done right. So the Diablo is probably the favorite Islakt sounding engine, I think. Germany, welcome. Cool, we're staying up late enough that the Europeans are coming in. Yeah, it's a Velociraptor 500. No bikes. 68 Nova, nice. It's only the Velociraptor 500. It's not the V8 swap. So it's not as crazy as most people think it is. The wife drives a Grand Wagoneer. It is 11:55 p.m. here. I'm a night owl. I'll be up pretty late most nights. So, as those of you who follow my lives know, I'm here pretty late. Oh, the bugs. I gotta close this. The bugs start coming in. Do you need any employees in Australia? Nope, I'm in Colorado. Inside the Supra? Yes. Could someone get a used Supra? Bring a trailer. Facebook. It's hard to see because it's dark. And I don't have... I wonder if I have flashlight nearby. No. My wife has driven the Diablo a number of times. She drove the Countach once, and the clutch is pretty stiff, and she didn't like that. And it doesn't have power steering, so it's a little tough to drive. Yeah. Do you think the new A91 manuals are going to turn to gold? Anything with a manual now probably will. If I get a real estate license and move to Colorado, can I work with you? Maybe. Depends on what you do and what your strengths are. A lot of people say, here's a tip for some people who want to work with somebody, not just me, but anybody, if they like have someone who's super successful and they want to work with them. Like one of the worst things you can do is say, I'm super motivated, I'll do anything you want. Because as an entrepreneur, as someone who runs businesses, like I'm super busy. I don't have time to figure out what you should do or come up with jobs for you. What impresses me, and which almost never happens, is someone who comes to me and says, hey, I see you're doing this in your business, I see you're doing this online, yada, yada, yada. I am an expert in this and I can fix this for you, and here's how I would fix it. And they don't just try and sell me a program, or it's not like a company, the companies do that all the time. But like an individual's like, I can come work for you and I can fix this issue. I'm an expert in this. These are my skills. And they will tell me how they will help me, instead of telling me, hey, you figure out how I can help you. So there's my tip of the day. Yes, I love old Lambos too. Are you an agent or investor? Both. So I own my own brokerage. I flip houses. I own commercial properties. I own residential properties. I have a laundromat. I have a car wash. I have a liquor store. The liquor store does best by far, by everything. So just bought the laundromat and car wash. So it's not doing so well yet. The goal is to make it do well. Are talking to people buying your first car tough? No, it's not. Just, honestly, just be yourself. Who cares what they think? Honestly, once you figure out, like I've been an introvert my whole life. I still am slightly, but I've gotten much better over the years. I was like the kid who hid behind his parents' knees and would never talk to anybody ever. And so, if you are uncomfortable talking to people, if you're scared about talking to people, one, like lots of people are like that. So don't be ashamed about it. But two, when you figure out that most people don't care like what you're saying, or that you're afraid or whatever, like They care about themselves. And I'm not trying to say that most people are bad. That's just naturally how we are. And some of those people might be just as scared as you are to talk. So once you realize that just be yourself and talk and who cares what other people think, like your whole world changes. So if you're scared to talk to people, have stage fright, which I do too, but I still have gotten up on stage and given presentations and talked to hundreds of people. Honestly, who cares what they think? Just be yourself and do it. If they don't like it, who cares? Like, most people you'll never see again, and it's not like they're going to go on television or YouTube and talk about how stupid you are. They're just going to be like, oh well. So, yeah. Sorry, little rant again. Tip number 2 for the night. The fastest car is the Diablo here. I have like four agents in my office. I don't have many like my office is not to make money from agents. It's really for me as an investor and for me to have control. And everyone in my office helps me in some way, actually. So even though they're agents. Gross sales at the liquor store are, we just had our first $22,000 week. So 90 to 100,000 a month. Aston Martin up there. Trucking companies are rough. Why are trucking companies rough? I'm curious. Because I know there's a shortage of shipping, right? Or is it just like the laws and different stuff they have coming down on you guys? I got started in real estate as an agent. Yeah, we're always needing repairs and stuff fixed up. But did you say you were in Denver? Yeah, we're in northern Colorado, Greeley. What's a car you didn't buy that you regret not buying? The Ford GT, but honestly, I couldn't have really afforded it at the time. So while I regret it, it wouldn't have been realistic for me to buy it. Saw 3 Lambo Urus in the last 2 days. Fun fact, they've made 20,000 Lamborghini Urus. They made 1,600 Countages over 16 years. They made 2,700 Diablos over 10 years. So yes, you will see way more new Lamborghinis than old ones because they made so many of them. The Asteroid? If you had 200,000 to invest, what would be your go-to? That's really hard to say. Some kind of real estate with leverage. Yep, Lamborghinis. The windows open on the Countach. It's a manual wind-up right there. The anniversary car has power windows. All the rest had the manual. I live in a small town. People always think my town's 100,000 people. It's not that big. This is an 88.5. Are you all up and Greeley? I think so. Why do we care about your money and cars? I don't know. That's up to you. I bought my first rental when I was 31, right? Or 30? 31. But I had flipped houses with my dad and been in real estate for years before that. My kids are asleep, and yeah, I don't start my cars at night. It's very late, and my kids are upstairs. So, shortage of drivers. Oh, so are you saying it's tough to own a trucking company right now, not to actually just be the driver? I 100% get that. I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's a shortage of everything right now. It's crazy. Profit margin at the liquor store. The gross profit margin is about 29%, maybe 28%, which is our sales to product cost. And then I don't know if the percentage is, what is it? Like, I just did my graph on TikTok. You can see it from yesterday that shows my sales at the store. But I think we're making $2,300 a week in net profit off of 22,000 in sales is what my numbers were. And IROC, cool. I have an Audi S4 and a Porsche 928. Yeah, 16,000 Countach, 1,600 Countaches. So you take a zero away. So I would imagine there's probably, what, 1,200 still alive? And I know that, I feel like I know so many people who have multiple Countaches. So honestly, there's probably like 800 people in the world who own a Countach, which is kind of crazy to think about. Oh, you go to lunch. Cool. Yeah, if you guys want to send me an email about doing work for me or stuff, mark@investformore.com is, yeah, how to get a hold of me. I'm in Colorado. Oregon, cool. How did you learn the liquor business? I bought a liquor store. That's how I learned it. I had no idea what I was doing before that. My YouTube channel goes over a ton of that stuff too. I have been to a German museum before, like 20 years ago, and saw a Bugatti EB110 there. That was pretty sick. Yes, the beeping's at my place. Sorry, sometimes that messes people up. It's that stupid garage door opener up there. Should I invest my own money to my own gym? Maybe. Depends on if you've done all the numbers and all the research on it. Everybody has to get started from the bottom. What, like 80% of wealthy people are self-made. So everybody's got to start from the bottom pretty much. Yes, I'm in Greeley, Tommy. I've got 10 cars. The Countach is definitely the most expensive car I have. There's a lot of cars that would smoke them all, but I don't care. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I understand what you mean about paying people. Everybody wants top rate for everything and then don't want to work. So, my store, it hasn't been robbed since I've had it, and the previous owner had it 20 years. She said it never been robbed either. So, are all these cars owned outright? All of them are, but the Countach. I did a lease on it. This is pretty expensive. Mark IV Supra. The Diablo's gone like 120, 130 maybe. Yeah, Jay Leno, he's got at least one Countach. He used to daily drive it. Yep, it is an 88. Welcome, Phoenix. Ireland, welcome. I don't really race, no. Mileage is 21,000 kilometers on the Countach. Mark@investformore.com. So just mark at my username here, investformore.com. My blog is investformore.com. My YouTube channel is investformore. My Instagram, my Facebook, it's all investformore. The Diablo has 29,000 miles, 21,000 kilometers, 118,000 miles on the Supra, like 35,000 miles on the Aston Martin. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, not like a regular car lease, like a lease to myself type of thing. Glasgow, cool. The farthest I've driven in the Countach is only like 30 miles. I would drive it farther. I would drive it to Denver. I would be 100% comfortable driving it more. I just haven't had the need to. So I do drive it a lot, but it's mostly just short trips around. I mean, my work is, 7 miles from where I live. So I don't have to drive it far, but I do drive it, to work on Fridays sometimes and drive it around town quite a bit. The Diablo, I've driven farther. I drive it quite a bit. I drove it on Friday to my laundromat and car wash, which is like 15 miles away. A Supra, I drive a bunch. The Aston Martin, I've driven, down to Denver for car shows and stuff all the time. What time do I wake up in the morning? Usually about 7. Depends on if my kids are in school, because I usually take my kids to school in the morning. Let's see if you can get a good view of the tachometer, maybe. Oh, it's so dark. Through there? Kind of. Italy. Welcome, Italy. I do have some day-to-day videos on my YouTube channel. Just search like Mark Ferguson day-to-day, and I have some of those. This is like 420 horsepower. That one's like 535 horsepower. Thanks, Ike. Appreciate it. Insurance costs like $5,000 a year for all of them through Haggerty. It's way cheaper on classic cars than you would think. I raced an old Lamborghini. Well, if you race a 40-year-old car with a newer car, it's probably going to win. But that's just how, especially from the 80s. The 80s was not, like, if you were back in the 80s and you had this car, like, you were the king of the road. Except for maybe like a Grand National. But you had the fastest car. Unless you had like a race car that was modified, of course. In 1988, this car had 420 horsepower. The Mustang had 210 horsepower or something. The Camaro had 205. So it was crazy the difference in horsepower between this car and other cars back then. Like way bigger difference than it is now. Now you've got, 600-700 horsepower Mustangs and Camaros, and Lamborghinis are 700-800 horsepower. So back then is a much bigger difference. No, sorry, I don't give away any of my cars. Yeah, I've got a garage at my business. So I own it. My business is actually in a strip mall I own. And there's like a grocery store, my office, a restaurant, some other stuff. And one of the offices moved out, and I converted that space into a garage. With how much gasoline do you park them? Don't know what that means. Yeah, when I went to Europe, like you never saw American cars ever, especially trucks. Yes, they start. Had any businesses that failed? I bought a bar last year, and that sucked. But one of the crazy things was I already owned a liquor store. So in Colorado, you're not allowed to own a liquor store and a bar. You can't have the liquor license for both of them. You can have multiple liquor licenses for bars. You can have multiple liquor licenses for liquor stores, but you can't own one of each. So I had to actually have someone I knew run the bar, put the liquor license in their name, and that just caused a lot of issues and problems. So we sold that this year. It didn't really fail, but definitely didn't go as how I thought it would. Yeah, it's a VT. Vicious traction. Have you heard of the Chrysler Jet car? No, I don't think so. Have you taken your cars overseas? Nope. If I had to keep one, it would be that one for sure, the Countach. The Lamborghini Ruvelto, they're okay. I just don't like the newer ones as much. Do I have a GN? No, I don't. I don't have one. What business is your most successful? I mean, probably my rental property business, I would say, is generated the most wealth and the most income. Oh, I drive all mine way more than 6 months. So even though we're in Colorado, a lot of people think it just snows all the time here. I can usually drive my cars every month of the year. This last year was more snowy than usual, so we had like 3 months in a row we couldn't really drive. But I try to drive my cars as much as I can, so I don't ever leave them usually sitting for like 6 months. I have like 30 rental properties that range from 900 to 68,000 square feet. So kind of a lot of different things. Do you have an after? Yes, I am an Avs fan. I love the Avs and Nuggets and Broncos. Wait, do I have an aftermarket exhaust? I'm still looking at comments. The Aston Martin does have an aftermarket custom exhaust. It was put on when I bought it. It sounds amazing. Big V8. The Supra is aftermarket, obviously. That had it on there when I bought it. The Countach is stock. I believe that it's all stock. It is relatively quiet. And the Diablo has, I think it's actually a Borla exhaust that was, I think it was put on at the dealer when it was new. They had that option. I can't remember where you see that. Maybe if you get under it, it says Borla on there somewhere. I don't think they called it a Borla exhaust, but it has Borla parts on it. Do you trust other people in your close circle to drive your cars? Maybe like one. uh, a low 9-second Regal. No, I don't have any room for more cars. I need to figure that out before I buy anything else. What time? 12:15. All right, I need to get going here soon, so I can still stick around. We didn't do our vote. I usually do a vote on which car you like the best, and that gets me more likes. So that's my only goal in life. No. So we'll do that real quick because that's always fun. We've got a lot of people. This has been a good live, but we're gonna go backwards to first this time. And if somebody wants to help me keep track of likes, that helps too because sometimes I get confused. So it's a very simple game. No 60s muscle cars. I just count down to like 15 seconds, but it usually ends up being 30, and just figure out how many likes there are for each car within that time frame. So now we're at like 10.9 thousand likes for this live. So, and to like it, if you don't know how, you just double tap the screen. So we're going to do the Diablo first. So if the Diablo is the favorite car in the garage out of the Countach, Aston Martin, Supra, then double tap the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm going to slowly count down with my hand. But it's Alpine Edition. 4 of 12 were made. V12 has 29,000 miles. Monterey Blue. They made about 2,700 Diablos altogether over 10 years. Gated 5-speed manual. Really fun car to drive. Very comfortable too. A lot of people don't realize how comfortable it is. So yeah, if this is your favorite car, double tap the screen. And we're counting down here. A few more seconds to go, and we'll see how it does. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that got about 1,100 likes, I think, if I kept track of that right. And now we're going to, now it's at 1,200. I never know when to stop. They keep coming in. We'll call it 1,200 likes. We'll do the Countach next. We'll do them backwards. We usually do them last. So if the Countach is your favorite car in the garage out of the Supra, Aston Martin, and Diablo, then double tap now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go ahead. I know people were double tapping before that, so I'll count those two. But this is a 1988.5 Countach. Used to be white. It was painted in the early 2000s to be red. That's why it's red on red. You'll probably never see a red on red Countach. Maybe. I've never seen another one like it. 420 horsepower. Used to have the American bumpers on the front and back. I took some of those off and put on my own front custom bumper right here to kind of give a throwback to the Walter Wolf Periscope version. So if the Countach is your favorite car, double tap the screen, and we've got a few more seconds here going. Thank you, Derp and Burp. 1,700 of these were made over, or 1,600, 16 or 1,700 over 16 years. Okay, so that one got, what was I at? Was I at 13,000? Or no, 11,000. Then we got to 12,500, 12,400, 2,000, 2,200, something like that. All right, the Countach is in the lead. And they're still coming in. So, yeah. I'm not going to buy a Regal, Jack. I'm sorry. All right. Next, we'll leave the Supra for last. The Aston Martin. So the Aston Martin is, so if this is your favorite car in the garage, double tap your screen and vote for it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. So 1981 Aston Martin V8 Volante. They just call them V8s. Volante means it's a convertible. They made 50 of them in 1981, and this actual car was in the show Dynasty from the 80s. It's got a little plaque on it. I don't know if you can see it right there. It was owned by the designer Bajan, and he was friends with Aaron Spelling, and he let him use the car in that show. Big V8, really fun car. Built in 81, so it's not the fastest, but it's is still fun and sounds amazing. Trying to think what else on this one. That's about it. So, what did this one have for likes? We're at started at 12.7. That one, you got like 1,000 for this one. Is that right? Like I said, I always can't keep track. But the Countach is definitely winning with about 2,000, maybe more. All right, we'll do the Supra next. Okay, so if the Supra is your favorite car in the garage, double tap the screen. It's at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. This is a Baltic Blue 1994 Supra 6-speed twin turbo US version. Obviously, it's a target top, 2 JZ, completely stock motor. They did convert it to the newer headlights and tail lights before I bought it. I love these cars. I had 3 Supras in high school, the Mark IIIs, and always wanted this one. Was able to buy it, luckily, later in life. And so, yeah, really fun car. And one of my favorite colors, too, in this. Royal Sapphire Blue is cool, too, but I like the dark blue, the Baltic Blue. Yeah, I'll tell you about the ones in high school. All right, so we'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What did the Supra have? Did we start at 16 there? So that one had almost 3,000? I think the Supra did win. A lot of times the last one I do wins. So, yeah, I had 3 Supras in high school. The first car I ever bought on my own was a 1987 Midnight Blue Supra 5-speed non-turbo. I paid $4,500 for it after saving my money forever. And then I bought a 1990 NA Red Supra with like 160,000 miles on it. I was on a road trip with on a trip with my mom in Oregon, and found this crazy deal for one for like $6,000. Bought it and drove it back here. I was going to just sell it, and my mom liked it so much she kept it. And then I bought a 1990 Supra Turbo Targa red on gray in Oklahoma. There's a super good deal when I was a senior in high school. And then I ended up blowing the engine on that because the head gasket's blue, and those are notorious for having head gasket problems. So, yeah, then after that, my next car was a 1990 Corvette I bought in Florida because I could buy cars down there way cheaper. I paid $11,000 for a 1990 Corvette. Drove it 2 years, drove it back from Florida, ended up crashing it into an irrigation ditch when it was raining really hard, and the insurance company paid me out $18,000 for it. So that's why I went to Florida, because I knew they were so much cheaper back then. The internet and stuff kind of changed that whole how much prices differed across the country, because I mean that was back in 1999, 2000. So, but yeah, still fun. Okay. You couldn't tapping the screen. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I missed a lot of comments while doing all that, but that's kind of my car story. 71 Chevelle in high school. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and my Mustang 5.0 I bought in college after I flipped the Corvette into an irrigation ditch. It's getting late now. And it was what year was it? 2001, I think. And it was a 1991 convertible, green with white interior, kind of the 7-Up model. I think it's a 7-Up, 5-speed. I paid $7,500 for it. And then after college, I put on a supercharger, put on a full exhaust, headers, injectors, new fuel pumps, and all that stuff. And drove that as my daily driver for like 7 or 8 years. And then eventually put on full disc brakes, redid the suspension, and that's a cool car. Never had a Viper. I've never driven one either, but they're cool. Alfa Romeos are cool. 74 Vette with a 468. Ooh, that's a big motor. Yeah, have you been in a Regal? No, I haven't been in a Regal, but I still don't want to buy one, Jack. I'm sorry. The Corvette, when I flipped it, I was driving literally like less than a mile from where I'm at right now, my house, but I didn't live over here at the time. And it had rained really, really hard. And I came up I was on a highway going like 60. I wasn't speeding. Like literally cars were passing me, but I knew I had to go slow because they had real wide tires and been raining. And the light turned red, like, or yellow right when it's like, do you stop or go? And so I'm like, I'm going to stop. And I'm like, it's probably too risky to stop that fast. So I let off the gas and I'll just go through the light. And when I let off the gas, it just started sliding. It started sliding to the right. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good because I'm going like 50. And so I corrected it. It started sliding to the left. I corrected it again. It started sliding the other way. And then I started sliding into oncoming traffic. And so I just yanked the wheel and flipped around backwards and slid off the side of the road on the other side and hit the side of the irrigation ditch going like 10 or 15 and just flipped upside down into like 3 feet of water. Rolled down my windows and the power went out when they're an inch down. And then I had to like rip the window off with my hands, broke the window, got out of my car, and there were like 5 people standing on the bank looking at me saying, gee, we didn't know what we're going to do if you didn't get out. I'm like, hey, thanks. But I had no idea how deep the water was at the time. Oh. So anyway, all right, I'm out of here now. Thanks everyone for stopping by. This is definitely the most expensive car. And I'll be back again. Like I said before, all my cars are on my YouTube channel, Invest for More, my username right here. All my properties are on Invest for More as well. My rental properties, my commercial properties, my businesses, the laundromat, the liquor store, the real estate office, all that stuff. And I've got 10 books on Amazon too about real estate and different things. So all kinds of different stuff. Investformore.com is my blog with lots of free articles too. So thanks everyone. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the votes and all of that stuff. And I'll be back here soon. And yeah, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube, that's a cool way to help me out because I'm trying to get close to 100,000 subs. I'm at like 94,000 or something now. All right. Bye everyone. Take care. Be back soon.